Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Michael Avidariti and I'm your host for this brief 8 minutes of yours. Before I get started, remember to subscribe to the channel, comment below what you think about this review and give it a thumb up. Much appreciated, thank you. Let's jump right into it. Today's movie review is a special one. It's about a trilogy that I have here in DVD, and I'm speaking about the great, awesome trilogy of Back to the Future. Today we are going to review the first part, movie number 1, on the second video. It's coming out on Wednesday, the second part, and the third part on Friday. That's a 1985 movie, produced as main producer Steven Spielberg, and co-written and directed by Robert Zemeckis. And I must say straight out in the beginning, that's one of my favorite movies of all time, period. I'm gonna let it here, just let it shine right here in the top. I'm going to speak why, but it's one of the really few movies that has a continuity that is mind-blowing. The continuity between the actors, meaning nowadays you have some movies that they make the first and then they make the second, the third, and maybe even more, but the actors sometimes change, and that's really not a good thing in my opinion. And sometimes also you see the character, not the actors, but the actors are the same, but the character, it's different from the first to the second sometimes, and stuff like this. So the continuity, and in this movie, from this aspect, the characters, the actors, and the whole story, the continuity, it's mind-blowing. Keep in mind it's a 1985 movie. It's not a one of the recent movies that you could say, yeah, okay, it's 2020 or it's 2015, 2010, whatever. It's obvious that it is. So I remember years ago, many years ago, I was really young when I saw first time this movie, and it really blew me away. So the first thing about the first part, the first movie that we are going to break down, analyze today, that I noticed when I rewatched this trilogy lately, it's just a few minutes. The few minutes that you are into the movie, in Act 1, the setup, the amount of information that you receive, not in a spoken way, but in a way that you see it on the screen. Not really highlighting it, but just you see the camera panning, you see the camera moving, and the great movie do this. They just, in a quiet movement, in a quiet scene, they pass so much information if you see it. In the beginning scene, when you see the the office of Doc Brown, when the Marty McFly comes in, when you see the span between all the stuff, the engineering stuff and things, you know, that pop up, everything that is automated, you get so many information. You get to see the plutonium case that he stole, or it's not that he stole, he received from the Libyans, that you see then later, when the scene is actually when the movie is breaking from Act 1 into Act 2, you see this case. Then the camera pans towards the TV, and there's the news that's also announcing that some plutonium has been stolen. The nice thing to have the exposition. So that's right away you see this information. One funny thing that I noticed in the movie is Marty McFly is a couple of times, I guess 2-3 times across the movie, saying when Doc Emmett Brown is saying something to him, he said, "Wow, that's heavy, that's really heavy." And actually at the midpoint, when they are in school trying to persuade actually the father of Marty McFly to go out with his mother, Marty and Doc are speaking a bit, and Doc is saying something, and Marty says again, "Oh, that's heavy." and Doc said, why is also heavy? Why are you saying it's heavy? Why is also heavy in the future? Because they are back in 1955. So, and then later I guess in the third movie, that's one scene where Doc is saying, "Whoa, that's heavy." That's something very, very funny that they played around. One thing from the structure that I like of the first movie, it's before it's jumping into the Act 3. There is this moment at the end of Act 2 in many movies where the hero seems to lose it all. The big mission that he's on, he really loses everything, and the world is about to collide and to go down. And that's the point where he's back in 1955. It seems that he was able to set up his young father together with his young mother to go to dance. They are in the dance party together. Marty is on stage playing guitar, but he sees his young father struggling. So another guy comes between the father and the mother and takes the mother and starts to dance. And you really see that's the point where that everything could really go bad. He starts to not be able anymore to play guitar, and he starts also even to see his hands kinda becoming transparent, vanishing. And that's a sign that if something doesn't happen between his father and his mother that are on the dance floor dancing, if they really don't get together and they don't kiss and they get together, this will change the future. So he will disappear because obviously they don't get together, they will not get married, they will not have him as a child. And then everything flips from one moment to the other. What is fascinating to me about this movie, it's how good it's played with time and space. And it is a subject that I really feel drawn into it, that I love and passionate. And all the movies of Christopher Nolan, for example, you could say also Tarantino's movies in some ways play with not linear storytelling, so you could in a way, not directly like this, but in a way fit into this. So it's really fascinating to me. And like I said in the beginning, this movie has done it in a really great job. That he's in 1985, he must go back. So in Act 2 you see where he actually, the catalyst is Doc Brown gets shot. To save the situation, the long Act 2, Marty goes back in 1955 and needs to to save the situation somehow. And only that, of course, he messes things up from the beginning. He gets between, like I said, his young mother and father, and he needs to manage the situation there. Ultimately, what I said, in the moment that everything seems lost, when then he gets into Act 3, he really knows what to do. Go to the place where's the clock, and take the car, get the lightning to get the power, and then go back to the future, 1985. I even say the first movie it's great, the second or the third is even greater in my opinion, because it's really playing with going back and forth within these three realities, and they have to pay attention to not interfere and let them see by their doppelganger, so the other character that has already gone back in time, and how everything is orchestrated, how everything is directed. It's great. It's really an awesome job. And also from the story, it's nice to see, and that's something that you see in all the three movies. But in the first movie, when Marty gets back in 1955, it's so epic. When he is sleeping in the bed, and he wakes up, and his young mother, 20 years old or so, is sitting there on the bed, and she's actually really attracted to him, and it's how they played out the actors. It's really amazing, because I cannot imagine myself being in a situation like this. How Marty, who knows what's happening, and he's embarrassed, and of course the other person is just attracted. He's a great looking guy, so but how this plays out, and also later in the movies, it's really funny. That's great. One aspect that really not that surprised, but really, I must say, that amazed me, because it's one of the essential part of movie or storytelling in a movie in a movie way. It's music. The music in here, it's typical from the era. When they're in 1955, you hear music from that era. And one last point is the ending, which is in the beginning of the second movie. That's when Doc Brown comes back from the future and gets to Marty. He's there with his girlfriend, and said, we're gonna need to get back to the future because some stuff has messed up. And the second movie starts really exactly from the same scene, and this doesn't happen so much nowadays, that you have exactly the same scene, so you can really pick up what's going on or what happened before. So it's just a great story. It's just a great story in the characters, the acting, the story itself, and how they played in a very good way. Future, present, past, present, and you can mess pretty much things up if you don't pay, I think, attention in the production, and that's made really great. So that's the breakdown for the first movie. Stay tuned for Wednesday for the second part of Back to the Future. Before I end, remember to give it a thumb up, to subscribe to the channel, comment below, and thank you for watching, and I see you in part 2. Bye.